Good morning, everyone. Okay, we'll get things started. Once again, thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning. You're giving up your Saturday morning, but I'm sure you're very interested in what we have to say today. So the plan is that, just want to let you know that the session's going to be recorded. So it will be available on our website after the meeting as well. We will send out a communication to let everybody know that it's been posted. We will be having a meeting in Calgary as well, and that's next week. We expect the session to run until 11 today. The first part is going to be focused on the pension material, and then we'll take a short break and go right into the health and wellness plan as well. So after each of the presentations, there's going to be a short question period. We've got the mic set up here at the front, so when you have a question, please walk up and we'll address those. Also, just a reminder to put your phones on silent so that it doesn't interrupt the session. And that way we can keep the disturbances during the recording to a minimum. I am going to take a couple of minutes just to introduce myself because I am new to ACAW Trust Funds. I'm Lucy Vocaturo, the director for ACAW. I was hired at the end of December 2024. I have 32 years of pension and benefits administration experience. I worked for 30 years with a third-party administrator that we provided support to 14 different pension board of trustees, as well as health and wellness and training trust funds. So I have a vast experience in terms of administration and governance, but also experience in extended health, disability, dental, and prescription drug claims. So my last year here at ACAW has been an interesting one as we got underway in 2025, but we've made a lot of progress in 2025, and now we're looking forward to 2026. But I'll go into a little bit more at the end of the presentation in terms of what plans are for 2026 and forward. But we are going to start off with a brief presentation or discussion from Harry Paul Penu, who is the temporary administrator for the ACAW Pension Trust Fund. So I'm going to hand it over to Harry Paul. There you go.
Thanks, Lucy. So I thought I'd just spend a couple of minutes. You probably heard the news about this role and how the governance changes happened at ACAW. So I want to give you some brief history on why the government took this action and what the plan is going forward, just to kind of clear the air, and we're going to be as transparent as we am. That's why we put the notice on the website. We sent emails to everyone kind of informing them of this decision. So this decision is unprecedented in Canada. I don't think we've ever had a situation like this occur. Usually when this happens, a plan is not well funded and it's shut down and the assets are dispersed and member benefits are paid. This is the opposite of this plan. This plan is very well funded. It's got a 132% funded ratio, which means they've got more than enough assets to cover the liabilities. So the plan's going to continue. Your benefits are going to accrue and you're going to earn your benefit, or if you're receiving a pension, you're going to receive your pension. The plan actually, the prior board, which rightly so, did a very major plan improvement, which was supported by the assets and the liabilities. That made sense. So the benefits are there. There's no worry about the plan not running. The reason this change was made is there was a number of governance issues with the plan. We came to be known, the government of Alberta, that the management trustees did not qualify to sit on the board. So part of the requirements were that you had to be employed by a participating employer. And there was some leeway given to try to find replacements. That wasn't done. So this plan is represented by union members that are appointed by the union and participating employers. And there has to be an equal number of both so that the plan board can function. everyone on the management side had been at least a year and a half removed from being employed by a participating employer, which potentially meant the board could not make decisions. So that was a prime reason why this change was done. As well, the government did a review of the plan and identified a number of issues that needed to be rectified. Some of them were, some of them weren't. So that was the other concern that the government had. And finally, it was respect to court actions. There were a lot of court actions on the plan board trustees and the plan on the board side and on the union side, which kind of take away from the plan operating properly and normally. So the government took the unprecedented action of replacing the current board of trustees with myself. So myself, my day job is I'm the Deputy Superintendent of Pensions of Alberta, which means I'm responsible for about 569 pension plans registered in Alberta, covering public sector plans all the way to plans like the ACAW to private sector plans like Suncor. So that's my day job. The superintendent decided it was appropriate to replace the board with myself. It's a temporary appointment. So what we're waiting for is there's one court action that we really need to get a decision on, and that'll form how this board will be functioning going forward. And that's in terms of the trust agreement and who can sit on the board, how they're appointed, and what their roles are. So the UBC took this court action that kind of put into question some of the amendments that were made to the trust agreement, which is a legal document that outlines how the plan is run, who appoints what, and what their terms are. So we're waiting for that decision. So once that decision is made, we're going to draft up a trust agreement with concurrence of the unions and the participating employers, and then I'm going to relieve myself of this role, and the plan will run normally, and you won't have to hear from me or see me in the future, hopefully. So the court case the judges are deliberating. It's in the Court of Appeal. It takes 3 to 6 months. I don't know why. Hopefully I don't think there's any judges here. I don't know what judges do in the meantime, why it takes that long to make a decision. But it's going to take some time. Once that decision is made, I'm going to relieve myself, and we're going to get a properly functioning board up and running on this plan. So I just wanted to address that matter and let everyone know. If you've got questions, I think they can get a hold of me through the email or phone in. I'm more than happy to answer any specific questions as well. That way, or if you have any questions now, I guess I can take a couple of minutes. We have some time for questions, right? So if there are any specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Bob, can you just up? You don't mind? Just over there. Sorry, gonna make you walk.
Harry Paul, the way that email came out and the way you just delivered sort of has the implication that the board did something nefarious or did something wrong. We've been accused of taking money, moving money for our own gain, that type of thing. As well, you talked about management trustees. The reason the board didn't have management trustees is we couldn't get anybody to come forward. And you've been there I don't know how long, you still don't have any coming forward. And I think you're going to find now that the way this is displayed across the country, people are going to look and say, why the hell would I want to do that? Take that personal liability for free. The UBC is currently fighting, or has fought, I think we've won that now, the fact that we had insurance. As long as we were doing things legally, we had insurance to cover this type of thing. We don't have insurance anymore, my understanding. And I think, I haven't talked to Lucy or anybody else, not my business anymore. But they're going to have a hard time getting insurance. And there was nothing wrong done. I'd like you to clarify that the board was not dishonest.
So, yeah, I can clarify that. There was nothing done where the board did anything on a financial point of view that was not appropriate. So that was never the case. It was more, can they sit on the board? And Bob kind of spoke to the management trustees. So the Construction Labor Relations of Alberta is the body that appoints people to sit on the ACAW board. They couldn't find anyone because of the current court action. So I've had discussions with them. We had discussions with them a couple of weeks ago. Okay, here's the plan going forward. will you want or can you get someone to sit in probably as a temporary period, and then when I remove myself from on a permanent basis? So we have had that discussion with the CLR in terms of, do you want to? And if not, we'll have to look at alternatives. There is another plan that's similar, a trade union plan, where they have professional trustees. So they pay someone to sit on the board that acts as a management representative. They can be accountants, lawyers, pension actuaries, or something. So there are different models that you can do. In respect of the UBC Trust Act cases, there was one, I think, that the UBC lost in terms of trustees can be compensated to sit on this board. And that's all transparent. It's in the trust agreements, in their policies. They're not getting rich off this. They get like, I think, $2,000-$3,000 per meeting, or $2,500. So it's something that they're taking away time from their job or from their hours to get, and that's appropriate. That happens across pension plans in Canada. As long as it's disclosed and the members are aware, there's no issues with it. So I'm addressing that part of it as well. So I think I've addressed a couple of those questions that you had. In terms of the insurance, the current trustees or the former trustees can't be covered, and the way the insurance brokerage said is you can't insure a burning house. And from the way that the insurance companies look at it, they're the ones that are paying all these legal fees. Thankfully, it's not coming out of our pension fund or our health and welfare fund. It's the insurance company, which is why the pension plans have insurance and health and welfare have insurance. They're paying these legal fees because it was an action that was brought on. So the prior trustees, they're like, they can't get covered. I am covered. The pension plan is covered going forward. But the prior trustees, it's just the risk from an insurance company will say, we're not covering them. This is a risk to us, and we're going to have to pay a lot more. So that's the reason for the insurance coverage. The plan is covered by insurance, and all new trustees will be covered by insurance. It's just the prior trustees can't because of the court actions that have taken place.
Hi, Brother Kevin Nitto. When are they going to come to all the members and ask them what we want for trustees on our board? This is not owned and operated by lawyers, accountants. This is owned and operated by the members. And we want to know when the members are going to be asked, what do we want? Who do we want on our board? Who do we want running our pension? We don't want the international involved at all. We don't want the Regional Council of Canada involved at all. We want our members involved. And we had probably three of the most trusted members in our local on that board, and they all got raped over the coals. And we want to know why they got raped over the coals, and when they're proven innocent, we want them back on our board, because they're the ones that we trusted and put on our board in the first place.
So I'll just hold off, if you don't mind, unless you want to follow up. Just to answer that, so the way this plan is set up in terms of the governance structure, 50% of the representatives have to be from the union side, so 2 from 1325, 1 from 2103, which is in Calgary. The other 50% is from the management side. So we had no issues with Mike, and I'm going to forget his last name. Mike Dunlop, and being on the board. There was no issues. They do a good job, and that is how we get the feedback. It is through those representatives that represent 1325 and 2103, say, here's what the members are hearing, here's what we want to go, here's what we want to see going forward. So if you have ideas, we talked to another union member who would come up with a detailed list of here's the changes I'd like to see, because I think we want better representation. This would be a better reflection of getting the board members, getting the plan set up appropriately so it reflects the union members' thoughts. So we are working on that.
One member come to you and had an...
No, currently. We've had other members. If you want to, we're more than open to take suggestions. I'm not saying it's going to be professionals that run it. 50% could be if the CLR doesn't want to appoint, but you're still going to have 1325 and 2103 be having a seat on that board because that's what's required.
Why was our board ripped apart in the first place? If we're the best run pension in Canada, which I understand we are.
You're the best funded. I wouldn't say best run. If you're best run, I wouldn't be here.
Okay, you can't be the best funded, ran by a bunch of boobs. We were run by good people.
I'm not saying that you weren't, yes.
And they just ripped it apart because somebody complained. Now, who is this somebody? Where did this complaint come from? I know where it came from, but you should tell the members where it came from.
I don't know where it came from. Do I want to do this? I like being involved in this kind of thing. Do I want to be sitting as an independent board chair of a pension plan? No, I've got my day job to do. I'm not getting compensated for this. I want to see this get run. And I've told you, it's the governance structure, the decision making, the lack of action, and then it was more on the management side, not getting people onto the board. We had given the board enough time to find people, and they decided either through whatever reason not to action it. And there were a number of things that the government pointed out that needed to be clarified. And that was why this action was taken.
You said your first comment was that it was a really well-run board.
I said well-funded.
Well-funded board.
I didn't say well-managed. If it was well-managed, and I'm being I don't want to air dirty laundry because I don't want to be subject to court action. There's specifics that I would go through, but I don't think it's appropriate.
A badly run board would be if we're making money, they must be doing something right.
Right. I'm saying on the investment side, on the pension payment side, yes, but the internal governance structure was probably where there was issues.
I'll disagree with that.
Just to make it clear, you stated earlier that the ACAW's legal fees are paid by an insurance company, but the UBC is paid by not insurance.
I'm not sure what they're paid for, and I don't know why they're doing
They're
this
not.
action. I can't speak to that.
Paid by us.
It probably is. I can't speak to that.
And just to clarify, if the person is here who made that complaint, have the balls to stand up and say, I'm the one who made the complaint. Thank you.
But like I said, I'm more than open to have discussions. And this thing isn't going to be set up and run by other people. It is your pension plan. It is funded by your employers that you work hard for, and it's your benefits that you're entitled to. So you should have a say, and you do have a say in terms of the operation and the management of this plan.
We don't want professionals coming in and running our thing.
They won't be. Yeah.
You said there's accountants, lawyers.
I said there is a model, and I think the way it's set up is it's 50% union representation, like 2 from 1325. So that will always be there, and that has to be there. But if the other side, if the employers don't want to name themselves, that's a model they can choose, and that has been shown to work in a different one.
None of them are going to do it with what happened. None of them are going to step up and say, I'm not taking a chance for no money to get taken to court and spend the next 3 or 4 years of my life fighting in court to prove that I did nothing wrong.
It's okay, Kev, it's okay. Ian Robertson, you said you were looking at taking suggestions as well. So our problem is it's not just the regional council has taken over 1325. And 1325, and they do not follow what the membership wants. And so they're taking their own direction and doing these things. And the problem is that if you leave it to them to provide the membership will never see it. It will be people out of Ontario that will be sitting on the board. And this is the problem. So my suggestion would be that we actually have to have a working 1325 member on the board, not some management person that sits in the office. A working person within 1325 has to be the representative.
And I would agree with that, and I don't want to get into the legal issues between the UBC and this. I've seen it on another plan too, and we're working with that plan. And this is where I might get myself in trouble if there's someone from UBC. They seem to see they can run the plan. That's not the way it works. It happened to Bob where they escorted him out of the office. They can't do that. That's why part of the reasons that we were trying to get this in is they don't have that ability. At best, if they have a say, do they take over 1325 or 21? I can't deal with that part of it. That's a labor issue. But we're making sure that the representation is appropriate from the government side. We want to make sure 1325 and 2103 are fairly represented. And we're dealing with it with another plan too right now where they've made some decisions where the government said, no, you're not doing that. And it was because the UBCJ was kind of saying, we want to do this, and we're like, the union members, the management side and the union came to us and say, we don't think this is appropriate. So the government is aware of these kind of labor issues that are going on, and we want to make sure that the plan maintains the governance structure it is intended to have.
I personally watched the UBC manipulate and take money.
And the government, you want to see that happen? Yeah, yeah.
And so if they're in control of our money, there will be none.
The government's there, and that's why we're there, to make sure none of that happens, and to the best we can.
And I appreciate you being there.
Yeah.
To make sure it doesn't.
And that's, like I said, we're doing that with another plan where we stop them from doing something that wasn't done in a proper way. So we're making them redo things. So the government can take action, and this has shown one, and on that side we're very heavily involved. And we've let others across Canada know, so if it's happening in Ontario, I've told my Ontario government counterparts, you might want to take a look at some of these plans to make sure that they're run the way they're supposed to be run.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Brother Dave Cloud, just point of clarification. You said that our pension plan is run by 3 trustees from the working side, 3 trustees from the non-working, from the management side. Now, what brought this all up was the employers were not submitting 3 trustees on their half. So why are our people being punished when it's the employers that weren't doing their part of the job? And what happens if the employers can't or will not appoint 3 people? Are we going to keep in this same situation?
No, so we'll look for an alternate. Once this court decision, and the court decision deals with a lot of these trust agreement, the way the plan is set up, if the CLR, and that's where we're having discussions, say, we don't want to appoint someone, let it be run by the members, that is a decision they can make. So if they want to do that, the current trust agreement didn't allow that to happen, which is why the government had to take its action. But if the CLR decides they want a different model, that we don't want to appoint something, we'll trust the union to run, the union members, 1325, 2103, or whatever it is, to run it, they can do that, and that's the changes we'll make.
So when all this is said and done for, we can get our good people back into where they were?
Yes, if they want to.
Good morning, Harry Paul, Brother Di Walters. Just to clarify, did you say that the CRC does not have the legal authority to take over our pension from our members?
I'm saying they don't, they have, and this is where I have to, I'm not a labor lawyer and I don't want to be one. I don't know what happens on the national, local side.
Okay.
If they appoint someone to be on 1325 and say, we have the ability, they can appoint someone that says, here's our person from 1325 or 2103. I don't know. If they have that ability, they can do that. But they do not have the ability to say, this is our pension plan and this is the way we want it run, because there's a 50% on the other side that'll offset that. So if there's decisions they're making, or if they get a hold of this, the government will probably take a very close eye on it if the governance structure is set up. That's one of the things that we want to protect the pension plan from, is making sure that balanced decisions are made in the best interest of the plan members. And that's the role of this pension plan. It isn't for the union to enrich the union. It isn't for the board members to enrich themselves, which isn't what's happening. But it's to make sure that you get your pensions that you've worked for and have earned. And that's the primary goal of this. They have a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that's done. And if they don't, that's when the government gets kind of up in arms and says, no, you can't do that.
Okay, thank you.
You've touched on this, which is great. I think the basic message everybody wants to know is that money's going to stay in Alberta, and the international ain't going to get their grubby hands on it. Correct?
That is correct. We want to make sure that the money, it goes to your pensions and the benefits you have earned. They can't sit there and say, we want to send it over. So I've heard in the past that they said, there was some action that the National said you had to invest in certain funds, and they wanted 20% of the pension assets to move to some fund. I know in Alberta, both pension plans said, screw you. I could go better, use stronger words, I don't want to use it, but they said, no, it's not happening.
And with the 132% solvency rate, our members are guaranteed their pension. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Wow, more questions than I thought, but like I said, I'm more than happy to answer this. This isn't being done in secret. We want to have appropriate transparency on what's happened and what's going forward. So I appreciate the questions. And like I said, I'm always available to answer any questions, and you can email or phone the office, and I'm more than willing to get back to you. Thanks.
Thanks, Harry Paul. Next, we have Terry McCann, who's our pension team lead. So she's going to be going through, give you an overview of the pension plan, and feel free to ask any questions after that. We also have a couple of our team members from the pension department as well here. So after the presentation, if you have specific questions related to you personally, they're available to answer questions for you as well. Terry?
Good morning. Very happy to see you all here. Probably the biggest crowd that I've ever spoken in front of. So thank you for taking your morning. So I am going to speak on what your pension partner or what your pension plan is all about, and hope you give some understanding as to how it works. So understanding your pension. Key features and benefits, summary of important changes and dates that is coming up for 2026. So understanding your pension. What type of pension plan does the ACAW plan administer? And how your pension benefit is earned, and what is the difference between normal retirement age and early retirement options. So what type of pension does the plan, the ACAW pension plan administer? The ACAW is a collective bargained multi-employer pension plan. Effective January 1st, 2015, the plan became a target benefit plan in respect for pension benefits accrued on and after the date and effective December 31st, 2017, in respect for all service. So how your pension benefits are earned is an actuary must use the negotiated contribution rate as an average for all the members. These contributions are negotiated between the union and the participating employers in the collective bargaining agreement. These contributions purchase a pension plan for members of the plan. Important point to know is that while the employer contribution is part of your compensation package, it doesn't come off your check. There seems to be a preconception that it does. It is part of your compensation package, but it's not directly coming off of your pay. So if your employer contributes $13,200, which in 2025, you will earn a pension accrual of $160 per month. So the equation is there and should be in the package for you. So prior to 2014, if your employer contributed the $13,200, you earned $150 a month. That is now $160. So that is one of the benefit changes that happened first of last year. So what is the difference between normal retirement age and early retirement options? So normal retirement age is 65. There has to be a 10-year allowance to commence a pension as early as 55. There's why there's a little bit of a reduction at age 60. However, there would be, as I said, there has to be reductions. So how much a reduction has bearing as to last hours worked. So if a member retiring at 55 could see a reduction as much as 50 to 70%. If you are a member that is turning 60 and you are an active member, you are going to have a much smaller percentage. It's usually around 6% if it was your 60th birthday and you're an active member that have hours that is currently being put into the plan. So key features and benefits. You got a lifetime pension payment. You cannot outlive this pension. You've got spouse continuation options, which is your spouse options. You've got minimum payment period guarantees that still, again, you don't outlive it. This is where you've got guarantee for beneficiaries. We've had some cost of living adjustments, and then we've had some small benefit lump sum options are some of the key features. So your lifetime pension payments. So an annual member statement lists your monthly pension amount. These numbers are based on your age 65. So when you get your annual statement each year, that's the option that is listed for what your monthly pension is. So that's based on your age 65. So that's where it's really important to have your date of birth correct on the system so that those numbers are going to be correct when you actually go to apply. Recent changes have streamed the options available, making it easier for members to choose and understand the options available. If you ever have questions regarding the options, please call the plan office. We are here to help you with those, and we will happily walk you through them. So your spouse continuation options. This is where you've got your joint survivor 100 with a 10-year guarantee. This is considered the normal form if you have a spouse. Not all members have spouses. That's why that's not the option that's listed on your annual statement. For the normal form of a pension for the 10-year guarantee, if choosing this option, the amount is calculated based on the age of both the member and their spouse. Upon the passing of either spouse, the same amount will be paid to the remaining spouse. If both deaths happen inside that 10-year guarantee, we're going to pay your designated beneficiary for the remainder of the 10-year guarantee. But you cannot outlive, the member can't outlive it, neither can the spouse. If the spouse predeceases the member, it just continues on for the life of the members, so it doesn't change. The amount stays the same. Next spouse option is the age 60, joint survivor 60. That one's going to give you a little higher amount because you're taking on a little bit of the risk. The spouse will get the mandated 60%, which is the minimum that a spouse can be given without having a waiver be completed. Then we get into your guaranteed options. Your guarantee, this is your normal form of the 10-year. Then we also have the 15-year, which works very much the same as your 10-year guarantee. Because we're guaranteeing it for a little longer period of time, it is going to be a little less payment. You can't outlive the payment. It's only the guarantee that you're looking for the beneficiary. So once an option has, that's something that's very important, and that is with all options, once a payment has gone into your account, the option cannot be changed. So you've got to be very careful with what option you've chosen. Now, the cost of living adjustments that we've had is mentioned in the pension booklet. Your pension plan provides you with the benefit according to what the Board of Trustees determines using its judgment about what the plan can afford, considering plan demographics, age, gender, family structure, negotiated contribution rates, and investment returns. The plan has experienced some positive returns, and the plan is well funded, as Harry Paul had mentioned. The ACAW pension plan has had 3 cost of living adjustments for active members, deferred members, and pensioners. So January 1st, 2023, 2%, January 1st, 2024, 2%, and then the January 1st, 2025, 20% increase. There is not an increase planned, I don't believe, for 2026. So why not?
Just given the current governance structure, I don't think it's appropriate to do a change right now until a properly functioning board can make that decision. It is funded well enough that they could probably undertake another plan adjustment, but we don't want to do that right now because then I've been seen to kind of taking control. So we want to leave that up to the new board once constituted. And given there's been a bit of volatility in the investment markets, we want to make sure that there is enough money to sustain that increase.
So you make $0.2 billion a year, and we get nothing out of it.
Sorry, I don't follow.
Your investments was $0.2 billion in 1 year that you made, and we get nothing out of it.
You get the guarantee that you're going to get your pension. So the fund can't guarantee you a return every year. There's some years where the fund has been negative, and that's where the board has to make the appropriate decisions. It's why they waited to make that one big 20% increase. It could be done. You want to make sure there's enough funds there and assets that can sustain up markets and down markets, and that's a decision that we want the board to make.
Okay, so on to your small benefit options, your commuted values. So the amount, if your monthly pension, we do have, and this is why I'm kind of addressing more to the deferred members. When you have what's considered a small benefit, or your amount is below the yearly maximum pension earnings, a benefit can be paid out in cash, less appropriate taxes. This YMP is calculated annually by the federal government. If the commuted value is below this amount, it is determined to be a small benefit. We can't make it a monthly payment. So if it is below that yearly maximum pension earnings, we do have to pay it out. If a member has been provided with a statement of options, so whenever somebody applies, we provide a statement of options, which you're choosing an option, then you're sending that back to us. If that statement includes that small benefit, it is deemed to, and you don't return it, it is deemed that the member has chosen the cash option. And that is spelled out in the statement, so it's to be careful with that when you're sending it, if you don't send back the statement. So if it is not, if it's not sent back by the expiry date. And now the retirement application process. So we cannot accept an application more than 6 months before your anticipated retirement date, and it has to be completed in full with all the attachment that's required. Main reason for that is we just don't have the space to have the files open, and it's just makes it too unorganized. So 6 months is the limit that we will accept an application. Once the application has been filed and reviewed, the statement of options is issued and mailed to the member. The member reviews the options, completes the package that was issued, and returns the package back to the office, including the mandatory pension partner spouse status declaration. That's pension partner spouse status declaration needs to be signed off by a commissioner of oaths or a notary. We do have them in the office, so if you are looking for that service, we do have them in the office, so you don't have to have that paid by a lawyer or go to Alberta Finance, or the registries to get that done. So what is a pension partner? So pension partners are married to each other and have not been living separate and apart, or they've been living with each other in a marriage-like relationship. Duration is based on provincial laws. If you have a spouse, common law spouse, or pension partner listed on your health and wellness benefits, the same individual is with your pension plan. You can't have them separate, different. And they have to, provided they meet the definition and outlined on the pension plan. So your retirement savings account this is considered a defined contribution component of the ACAW pension plan. Statements are sent out annually for those. We usually try and get those out by the end of June. Members must contact the plan office for the application to withdraw the funds. So we're going to send you an annual statement. You want to have it removed. It is an application that needs to be received. The application is requested that it is received by the end of the plan year, because the calculations are done for the first quarter of the following year. So if you've worked the hours in 2026, and you want those hours removed, then you need to have the application in by the end of 2026. Calculation will be done in 2027, and a statement of option will be sent out to you. All right. Summary of important changes in deaths. Cost of living adjustment. The January 1st, 2025 was the 20% increase. The annual pension statements are scheduled for mid-2026. Retirement savings account statements are scheduled for mid-May 2026. Pensioner affirmations will be mailed with the T4As, should be out by the end of February. They do need, those affirmations do need to still be back by May 15th. T4As are scheduled to be mailed, obviously, with the affirmation by the end of February. Do we have any questions? Hello, George.
Hello. So under the UBC International Pension, if my spouse passes before me, the total calculated monthly amount bounces back to the original calculated amount. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Local pension doesn't do that.
Does not.
Why is that?
That's the way the actuary has set up that option back in 1976, I think, is when that option was first calculated into the plan.
So is there possibility to have that reviewed?
It would change the monthly amount, but because you'd be guaranteeing a higher pension for the member.
So the UBC International Pension does it, but we don't.
We're not the same plan.
No, I know.
Yeah.
That's my point.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I can't speak for them. I can only speak for ours.
Okay.
And ours does not have a reversal at the spouse's death.
Okay, thanks.
Question about the early retirement options. If you decide to retire early, there's all sorts of mathematical formulas, but it says here you can obtain an estimate. Would we obtain the estimate from your guys' self? Because I know there's a huge calculation, and is there a charge for that? Because I heard there's a $500.
We don't charge for estimates, no.
So how do we go about finding that out if we were to retire at 55 and we walk in and say, I'm considering it?
Yeah, we can do an estimate up to 6 months before a retirement. So if you're looking at 55, at 54 and a half, we would be able to do an estimate for age 55.
Okay.
And then we can't forecast what your hours are going to be. So that's part of the reason why we don't have you're going to have this at 60, you're going to have this at 62, we don't have that kind of a statement that we do. But if you're looking to get what's it going to be at 55, at 54 and a half, you can definitely give us a call and we can provide an estimate for you and have that sent to you.
So six months before your birthday.
About 6 months before any action is about the furthest out that we can do an estimate.
Birth date or retirement?
It would be your whatever age you're looking at. So if you're
Okay.
looking at 54, like if you are currently at 54 and a half and you're wanting to
Not
start
yet.
your pension at 55,
Yeah.
then that's when you would give us a call and we could get that calculation done. That'd be the furthest out that we'd be able to do.
And would that be your retirement money, pension money, or could you divert that to a LIRA?
It's normally a monthly pension, depends on what your amounts are, right? So if your amount is over that yearly maximum pension earnings, you're locked in for a monthly pension. There's nothing that we can do to change that.
Cool. All right.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'll keep in mind that when you're dealing with the lump sum, that lump sum you're taking, you're going to do the investment yourself, et cetera. You're going to earn or have your own pension. You can't outlive this pension plan. So if you live till you're 110, we're paying you till you're 110.
Hi, I'm Brother Terry Kay. My question is, when does the 10-year guaranteed period start? When you
The day
retire?
you start your pension.
Oh, okay, very
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, if your commencement date is August 1st, 2026, that's when it starts. It'll be 2036 is when the expiry would be. Yeah. Any other questions? Good morning.
Morning. Just as per Mr. Bundred's there, or Brother Bundred's question there, do you know offhand the formula that's used to calculate early retirement payouts? Do you know offhand what the formula is? It's
For the termination value, is that what you're asking for? Is the communication value? Or,
it was said earlier that there's a 6% reduction in benefits if you retire at 60,
okay.
and then what's the reduction between 60 and 55?
It's 4% a year.
4%
Between
per year?
60, like, so if you're 60 to 55, it's 4% a year.
Okay.
And that's if you're a member. So if you're a deferred member, it is a greater reduction. That's where that 50-70% comes in.
4% reduction per year. Thank you.
Yeah, if you're a non-member. So it's different if you're a member. If you're a working member, then it's a much smaller reduction for sure.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any other questions? No, Bob, you can't have a raise.
Just for information, could you tell the members what the effect of a target benefit plan is?
A target, the difference between a target benefit and a defined benefit is how it's structured. Is with a defined benefit, the company could add money into the plan to increase to bring it up so that it's solvent, I guess, or not. I don't want to use the word solvent, but keep that benefit level. With Target, the only way that they can, I hate to use it. Yeah, I'm going to let Harry Paul do this one because it's just easier for him to explain it. I can explain it, but it's just like not in front of people.
The ACAW plan has always been a target benefit
has
plan,
It
not
has
legally, but in practice. So the way these types of plans are funded is the employer contributes a certain amount based on the collective agreement. Then some magical math happens in the background and says, here's how much benefit can be supported by this contribution. The most defined benefit plans, like a Suncor plan or a public sector plan, is the employer is responsible for picking up any shortfall if there isn't enough money in the plan. For a target benefit plan, either the contributions the employer contributes have to go up or the benefits have to be adjusted going forward. So that's why it's called a target. The goal is to target that level, but if there isn't enough contributions coming in or if the assets don't support it, actions have to be taken to kind of get it to a proper funded status. So that's the legal status and the math behind it. You've seen this plan is done well, and most plans of this type in Alberta have been very well funded and have had benefit increases. I think of the 20 that we have in Alberta, about 15 to 18 of them provided benefit increases, which meant they're properly funded and they can provide cost of living increases. So it's never been a concern. It's just the mechanism in terms of making sure the fund has enough assets to support the benefits.
Yeah, because the actual physical defined benefit has got the mechanism where they could increase contribution, which because of the collective agreement, they can't. Hi.
Sister Danielle Bamber, you mentioned that the plan, the actuary calculations are based off of when the plan was initially set up in about 1970.
Mm-hmm.
That's
75, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's 50 years.
Yeah.
Have we looked into whether or not the spousal contributions and those options still are relevant to what our members need, because it's an entire generation. Maybe there are different options out there that we could look into that would benefit our members now, a whole generation later.
That is something that we could review and,
That is something that
yeah.
in the past, there used to be no spousal benefit, or you had to sign out. And that was, again, I'm going generations ago, mostly the males worked and the females didn't have any pension coverage. So they wanted to make sure that their partner had a benefit. And so they had to sign off on a spousal waiver. So we have transitioned in terms of government and in terms of the plan, in terms of the different options available. So if you're both working, do you really need a spousal benefit? And I'm not financial planning, but you can choose something that's guaranteed for your life, 5 years, 10 years, or 15. So that is an option. You just need your pension partner to sign off on that. So you have that flexibility. You're not forced to use one option, because everyone has their own financial situations, and you should be able to make the decision on what kind of pension you want that best suits you. So those options are available.
And it is still a matrimonial asset, so
Yeah.
therefore the spouse has a say. Yeah.
Question, I kind of touched on it briefly with Emily and Lucy. Will there be pension information on the app to help us see what's going on with our pension, like statements and that on the app itself?
On the application?
Or no, on the ACAW app that we just started recently using for benefits and that? Will there be pension information added to that if you want to see that?
You're talking about being able to see what your monthly pension is, et cetera?
Pension statements, information about
They
that.
are looking at a member portal.
We are. The goal is to roll something out in 2026. So it's not going to be part of the TELUS app where you're submitting claims. This is going to be a web portal that anybody who has a pension contributions will have a login and access to that information. So you'll have a work history as well as contributions, and then the additional arm to that would be the pension estimator.
Yeah.
And that will be for people not retired and retirement? On both ends?
We're still scoping out the framework, but we will have something definitely that will be for individuals that are in pre-retirement, because you need to be able to see what contributions have been made on your behalf. When it comes to members that are in pension, it'll be a little bit different. You'll be able to see likely, your pension payments, your beneficiary, be able to change your address and things like that.
We're hoping
Thank
to
you so
actually, we're hoping to actually add the pension affirmation to that retirement.
Yes, that's right.
For the pensioners as well.
It's great to be in the year 2026. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Hi.
Dennis Michaud here. Can you elaborate a little bit about the small benefit lump sum option? I've noticed a few additional payments into my account that say they're retirement income fund. I don't know where they came from. It's kind of nice to have them. But
It's on the who?
it said retirement income fund just came into my bank account. And I'm wondering if could be what that was. I haven't checked with my bank yet, but
We haven't, the only thing that would change, because obviously taxes change every year, so if you're in that realm where your pension's being taxed, the taxes go down every year, where the basic exemption goes up, so therefore your pension goes up, right? So, but we haven't had any increases recently.
So how would this small benefit lump sum thing be paid out? What is it exactly?
Okay, are you in receipt of a pension now?
Yes.
Okay, so there wouldn't be a small benefit. The small benefit is only applying when you've got I'm going to throw a number out, a $60 a month pension.
Okay.
You're coming up to 65. You worked through the hall 20 years ago, and you have this small pension. when we go to calculate it, if it's below, I think this year it's 14,500, 14,600. If it's below that threshold, then we're going to pay it out at a lump sum. So that would be different than what I think you're
Okay, I was just
talking
hoping
about.
it was extra
sure.
money.
Yeah, no, sorry. But we do have, as said, if you are still working, sir, if you do have pension contributions that are going in, that's where that retirement savings account comes in. So that statement would come out in June. Okay. Any more questions? All right, thank you very much. If you do have any other questions or you come up with any questions, we will have a Q&A after the sessions. Happy to talk to any one of you. I also have Aaron at the back, who is also very versed in the pension plan. We'll be able to answer any of your questions as well. So, all right, thank you.
You want to take a break? 5 minutes? Sounds good. Thanks, everyone. We're going to get started with the health and wellness presentation now. I'd like to introduce you to Emily Carr, who's our health and wellness team lead. So she's going to go through some of the recent changes to the health and wellness plan, and then there'll be a brief question and answer period at the end. Thanks.
Thank you, Lucy. Good morning, everyone. I want to thank everybody for coming out this morning. It's fantastic to see a full room and lots of familiar faces, so we certainly appreciate you taking the time to come in and see us this morning out of your busy schedules. This morning, I'm going to be going over the health and wellness plan. Within that plan, we're going to be going through this year on our updates. We'll do some basics. If you were here last year, it'll be a little bit of a repeat at the start, because we're going to go over the basics of your hours and eligibility, your reciprocal agreements and contributions, the benefit package that's in place currently, the member and family assistance program that we have available to all of our members, along with our new benefit card through TELUS Adjudicare and our electronic claims submission that we launched recently, and the new benefit improvements and changes coming in for 2026. So within the member hours, there is some qualifications that have to be met in order for your hours to be included in your hour bank. So you must be an active member of Local 1325, 2103, or 2010, or working for a contributing employer. It is important to note that hours that are worked while in suspended status cannot be applied to your hour bank, so it is important to maintain your union membership as well, especially in periods when you're not working regularly. So hours worked must be reported by your employer to the health and wellness plan by the 15th of the following month after they're worked, and then the hours are then processed by the ACAW trust funds and added to your hour bank balance. Sorry? Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, is it possible for us to turn up a little more or adjust? I don't want to mess with their stuff. Test, test, test. Is that any better? Hey, we got thumbs up in the back. Awesome. Okay, sorry about that. So also, it is of note for health and wellness that we do only look at straight time. So overtime and double time only come into play for pension. Within the hour bank, there is a reporting timeline that has to be met. That's laid out in the agreements. So your hours are worked 1 month. They're reported by the employer the following month, and then they're processed and applied to your hour bank for the month after that. So, for example, if you look at the chart below, the hours worked out in January are reported and processed in February, and then applied to your hour bank for March. And it is also important to remember that regardless of when the hours are received, they're always applied to the same month based on when they were worked. So even if they were received late, or if in the case of reciprocal transfers, they're always going to be applied the same way based on when they were worked. In order to become eligible for benefits with the ACAW Health and Wellness Plan, new members or members who have been ineligible for a period of 4 months or longer must attain 300 hours within a 6-month period to initiate your coverage. Then once your coverage is in place, to maintain your coverage or reinstate your coverage if you're out of coverage for 4 months or less than 4 months, You only need 130 hours each month. So there are cases where you can be working out of province or for a local outside of 1325, 2103, or 2010, where your hours are still reported. Reciprocal agreements allow for the transfer of your hours and contributions to ACAW while you are working out of province or under a reciprocal local. Reciprocal agreements are in place with many other locals within Canada. So if you're considering accepting a dispatch to work under another local, you can contact us to confirm that there is a reciprocal agreement in place with that union and signed with that local to ensure that your hours are going to be returned to us. Some provinces do require paperwork to be completed for that transfer, so it is important to check as well if there's any paperwork that is required. So you can either check with us at the plan office, or you can confirm with the local that's dispatching you whether there's any paperwork requirement. Within reciprocal transfers, there is by nature a longer reporting process because the hours are worked under another province or local will take at least an additional month to be received by the ACAW trust funds. This is because they have to be processed by the plan that you're working under before they can be sent to us. So they do, by nature, automatically take at least an extra month for us to receive the hours. But as I said before, they'll still be applied in the same way they would as if they were worked here based on when you work them. Within the hours and contributions, if you're working for another plan, there is the chance that the contribution rates for the hours worked in another province or under another local may not match the current Alberta contribution rates for health and wellness, which is the $210 per hour. If the contribution rate is lower, the contribution received will be prorated to determine the number of hours loaded into your hour bank. So this could mean you wouldn't receive full credit for the hours that you're working if their contribution rate is lower. This is negotiated on a local basis, so it's outside of our control. We are just receiving the funds coming in from that province and then calculating it based on the Alberta rate. In most cases, we're not notified if you're working at a province. So we would have no way to know that there should be hours coming in from another outside source. So if you notify us, if you contact us, it's a good idea. If you're considering accepting a job at a province, you can give us a heads up ahead of time. If you take a proactive approach, that can help expedite the process because then we can watch, we know that those hours should be coming in and we can watch to make sure that they are coming in on time. Also, you can actually check with the local that's dispatching you as well to make sure, like I say, if there's any paperwork that's required and that type of thing. We do have several options to extend your eligibility within the plan. So the self-payment option is available for when your hour bank drops below the 130 hours that is required to maintain your coverage. You may qualify to make self-payments for up to 6 months to extend your benefits. There are deadlines that apply. We'll go over that a little more in depth later in the presentation because there is some changes to self-payments this year. There is also the extended benefit program. This is available. Members age 65 and over may qualify to receive up to 12 months of extended benefits at no cost to the member. It is a one-time only benefit. No hours can be reported within that 12-month period, and you can make your self-payments before that benefit kicks in, but not after. So there is some specific criteria to that one. So especially if you're approaching age 65 and still working, give us a shout so that we can confirm for you so you know exactly how that process works because it is automatic and it is one time only. So we want to make sure that you understand when that would be kicking in so that you can maximize that based on your personal situation. There is also the freezing of hours benefit. So members that are receiving disability payments from either the ACAW Health and Wellness Plan for weekly disability benefits, EI sickness claims, WCB disability claims, or CPP disability claims may qualify to have their hour bank extended based on those disability payments. That can go up as far as age 65 in some cases. Again, there's criteria for that, so if you feel that may apply to you, feel free to give us a shout, and we can confirm if there's anything that we can do for you in that respect. Within our benefit package as a whole, we do offer dental coverage, we have vision coverage, prescription drug coverage, supplementary medical coverage. Now, supplementary medical coverage is very broad. It covers a variety of paramedical practitioners, such as chiropractic, massage, physiotherapy, that type of thing. Also, a large variety of services and supplies and items, such as diabetic supplies, foot orthotics, that type of thing. Our booklet has all the full details on that as well, and you can certainly reach out to us at any time in the office. We also have hospital and ambulance coverage within the plan. And we're also very committed to supporting our members' mental health throughout all aspects of their life, through our mental health services professionals coverage and our member and family assistance program that's available through TELUS Health. I do have brochures at the back for TELUS Health, and there's also hard hat stickers there. Feel free to grab as many brochures if you want to grab a handful so you can throw some in the lunchroom at work. We're very happy to have those distributed out throughout the job sites, so please feel free to take lots of those, same with the hard hat stickers as well. There's lots of information on our website on that, but like I say, always you can reach out to us at any time for that as well. So, coming into 2026, we are pleased to announce that there are quite a few changes coming in from the Health and Wellness Plan. We have some changes to the self-payment deadlines. We have an increase to our weekly disability benefits. We have some changes to the dependent massage coverage, where children under 16 will require a physician's referral for coverage. We have expanded our dental fee guides to be specific to each province. We have the biggest thing, our new ACAW benefits card through TELUS Adjudicare, and the TELUS Adjudicare web portal and member app access, and also the launch of claims reimbursement by electronic funds transfer. So self-payments will now be accepted for the first 3 business days of each month. That has extended the deadline from previously. So in the case of your first self-payment, we always allow additional time because you need to be able to be notified that you're due for a self-payment and to give you the option to get that to us. So your first self-payment is due at the end of the month following when your coverage ended. And then each subsequent self-payment must be received within the first 3 business days of the month for which coverage is required. So for example, if your coverage ended April 30th, your May and June self-payments must be received no later than the 3rd business day in June. And self-payments are allowed, as we stated earlier, for up to that 6 months, but they have to be consecutive, so you can't skip months. It has to be a straight-through process. That does also make it so that you can maintain your re-eligible period of only needing 130 hours to start things back up. So it is helpful that way so that you don't hit that 4 months without coverage where you'd have to build back up to 300 hours. We did increase our weekly disability benefit. So the benefit has increased from $650 per week to $729 per week, less applicable income tax, of course. The weekly disability benefits will be paid in accordance with, I was getting some feedback there, will be paid in accordance with the EI sickness benefit coverage amounts in Canada based on the maximum benefit going forward. So you will see, as there's any changes to the EI program going forward, our plan will be matching that moving forward. And weekly disability benefits are available for up to 26 weeks if a member is unable to work because of an illness or a non-work related injury. And again, there's still some criteria to be met, so definitely give us a call if you're ever ill or unable to work from an injury. Then we can definitely help you out with that. For massage coverage, so this one's a bit of a tweak. We have a little bit of a change. So children under age of 16, we are going to be requiring a physician's referral for all massage services provided for them. There's no changes to the existing coverage for adults, members, spouses, or children age 16 to 18. This is only applicable to under 16. In all cases for massage, we do require a practitioner's license number on the receipts. The services can't be provided by a related person, and they're still subject to the maximum of the 90% up to $900 per person per calendar year. Dental fee guides have been expanded. So they have been expanded to reflect 100% coverage for eligible dental services based on the applicable dental fee schedule where the service is rendered. So we recognize that members and their families are residing throughout Canada, and this update helps better reflect that and impact those claims that are coming in from those other areas. The maximum payable for basic and major treatment is still at $4,250 per person per calendar year, and orthodontic treatment remains at $3,500 lifetime maximum per child, and children must be aged 6 to 18 when the braces are applied. Okay, our biggest and most requested change is definitely our new ACAW benefits card through TELUS Adjudicare. This new card provides direct billing for all eligible services, such as drugs, dental, vision, supplementary medical items and services. The introduction of claim reimbursement by electronic funds transfer, or EFT, means we can maintain quicker payments and there's no risk of postal delivery interruptions. Payments will be issued daily for EFT payments, and we'll be issuing check payments twice a month. Because of that, we do encourage all members to sign up and get their EFT set up, their banking information set up, even if you don't want to use the app for electronic submissions. If you go in and set up your banking information, then at least your payment, we can get that out to you quickly. Another exciting update with our benefit card is access to the TELUS Adjudicare member portal and the ACAW My Benefits mobile claims app. These features allow members access to submit claims electronically without the need of completing a claim form with each submission. Claim forms will now only be required if you're submitting manually outside of the app or the portal. You can still come see us in office and drop off a claim. You can still email one in. We're totally fine with that. We're happy to see you. But there is now the option for that electronic submission if you can't make it in to see us. You'll now receive email notifications of any claim payments, and you'll have access to electronic versions of your explanation of benefits when those payments are issued. You'll also be able to view claim status and history for both yourself as the member and your eligible dependents. It also allows the option for you to have export of your claims history where necessary. So as we're coming up on tax time, if you need a printout of all of your 2025 expenses, you can now access that right on the app. You'll be able to filter it and export that so that you have that at your fingertips if you need it. You also have the ability to view remaining balances for services within the plan for both yourself and your dependents. And you can customize the dashboard view to your preference. So we have a list of most frequently submitted services, and those can be customized for both the member and their dependents and saved based on those preferences. You'll have if you have a look on the screen, you'll see some of the quick access dashlets that are an example of that. So you can customize that for both yourself and your dependents. Some of the most frequently asked questions that we've had as we've launched into the app is first off, how do I register? So within our ACAW Trust Funds website, there is access to links to the TELUS Adjudicare member portal, and there's also links to the mobile ACAW My Benefits mobile app. So you can download those and then register. Within the website, we do have some video tutorials for some how-tos and some instructions for how to go about that if you're having issues, or how to customize your app once you're in. Can you change your banking information? Absolutely. Banking information is required for claim submission in the app. So if you want to use the app, we are going to require you to set up your banking information to be able to submit through the app. Once it is set up, you can update it at any time throughout the app or the portal, and it is updated in real time for us. Within that, you'll see there's different options within my profile. You can go in and change your email address and things like that as well. What if you're not seeing your dependents, or if you're seeing someone that's there that you don't think should be there? That means basically within the app, you're going to see anyone who is an eligible dependent within your plan at this time. So if you're seeing someone that you think shouldn't be there, you need to give us a call so we can update your dependents to get your current marital status and dependents where it should be. And if you're not seeing someone that you think you should, chances are it means that they're either not eligible yet for benefits or we need some sort of update. So if your child's returned to school this fall and you haven't sent us in student information to verify their enrollment, that would be why they're not listed at this time, that kind of thing. So reach out to us if you see anything in there that, like I say, either you feel we're missing someone or there's someone in there that shouldn't be in there. Within that app as well, you can view not just your claims, but also your predeterminations. So if your dentist is proposing a treatment and you want to make sure it's going to be eligible within the plan, you do have the option to be able to view all of that within the app as well. You will have to filter it though. So within the app, at the top on the right-hand corner, typically, there's a spot where you'll see it'll say filter. You're going to click on that and you'll see the option to select claims versus predeterminations. So you'll just need to update that to predetermination and you'll be able to view those in real time as well. When it comes to payments, payments are deposited very quickly. So like I said, we are going to be processing EFT payments daily. You will receive an email notification when your payment has been processed in office. So chances are throughout the day, you're going to get an email saying your claim has been processed. If you click on the link in that email, it will take you to where you can view your explanation of benefits, which will show what your payment amount will be. And then from the time that you receive that notice, you should receive your payment in your bank within 2 to 3 business days at the most. It is some same day in some cases. It's very dependent on which bank you're using and the setup with your bank. But typically you can receive it as quickly as same day and at maximum within 3 business days. So on that note, if you see that you've received a payment notification and you haven't received your payment within 3 days, please reach out to us because there are occasions where if your banking information is incomplete or incorrect, the claim may be, or the transfer may be rejected by your bank, and we may not receive immediate notification of that. So if you haven't received your payment within 3 days, and you've received a notice that you should have had a payment, definitely reach out to us so we can check in on that. Oh, oops, I'm jumping ahead, sorry. So that went very quickly, I apologize. So I thank you again for joining us this morning. I'd be happy to answer any health and wellness questions that you have at the time. If you have something specific to your account or a more personal question, you can reach out to myself or Sheena is here in the back as well. But if there's any general questions, we'd be happy to assist at the time. Come on up, Will.
Just a quick question on benefits and self-payments.
Yep.
If your benefits end at April 30th and you make a self-payment, how many months are you allowed to self-pay? And what does it cost per month?
Cost is currently $273 a month. So that's based on the current contribution rate at 130 hours. So 210 times 130 hours is the 273. So that's where that comes from. So it's $273 per month. You can self-pay for up to 6 months. But it has to be consecutive. So you can't say, I want to pay for May, but I don't need June. I want to pay for July. You'd have to pay May, June, and July in order to be paying for July. So
okay, so if you self-pay and you go back to work and then your employer contributes, you're going to have that money in a bank?
Yes, so if you become re-eligible, I'm going to answer this in two parts.
Sure.
So if you become re-eligible for benefits for at least 1 month, your self-payment cycle resets. So you could do up to another 6 self-payments again when your benefits run out, if they run out again. Also, if it turns out that you had enough hours and you didn't need that self-payment that you made, so if you made a payment for May, and because of the 2-month reporting process, it turns out we got March hours for you, you didn't need that payment, then what our process is if you need it, you don't need it this month, but you're going to need it next month, we'll just move it forward to the next month for you. But if your hour bank is sufficient that you don't need it for this month and next month, then we'll process it for a refund to you immediately. So during the first week of the month when we do our monthly updates, all those refunds are processed and either pushed forward or sent back to the members.
Okay, and a quick question about retirement. If you are going to be retiring at 65 or whatever, can you self-pay to get the maximum value of your self-payment when you're retired?
Self-pay limits are still the same, whether you're going back to work or retiring. So the maximum would still be the 6 months. The important thing to remember is depending on when you're retiring, if you're retiring at age 65 and that extended benefits program is in play, you're going to want to, if you want to receive the maximum benefit plan, period possible, you're going to want to take advantage of your self-pay period before the extended benefits kick in, because you can't self-pay after. So you can opt out of the self-pay option, but you can't decide at the end if you want to do it afterwards. So if you want to maximize it the most, you would need to make those self-payments before the extended benefits kick in.
Okay, and I can...
Yes, yeah, so it's based on your hour bank. So your hour bank would be depleted first. So whenever you do stop working, whether it's permanently or temporary, your hour bank is always going to be the primary coverage first, as long as it's available. So you can have up to 6 months in your hour bank if you're stopping with a full hour bank. So you would have 6 months of coverage through that hour bank. Then you'd have the option for up to the 6 months of self-pays. And then in the case of at age 65 for an eligible member, if you meet the criteria, then you could have up to the 12 months of extended benefit period after that.
Right. Is there any plans on maybe helping out retirement members who want to extend their hour bank? So if I'm 65, long ways away, but if I want to pay the $270 or $300, what it is, just like Alberta Healthcare or Blue Cross, sorry, are you guys going to give us the option? Is that a plan?
It's definitely our most requested benefit change at the moment. It's definitely on our radar. We are actively costing that at the moment to determine if it is sustainable, to determine what type of benefit we could implement if we did go ahead with it, because there's a lot of variables with that scenario. Are we opening it to everyone who's just newly retired? Is it everyone who's already retired? Is it someone who retired in the last 5 years? Is it the same benefit coverage? Is it a different benefit plan where it's a little bit more scaled back? Is it a member pay option? Is it a plan pay option? So there's a lot of moving parts to that one. Right. So that's why it's taking longer for us to review that. So it is actively being reviewed by the trustees at this time. So you'll be the first to know if we implement it, I can promise. But it is definitely being reviewed. Small but mighty.
Talking on the same question, I have friends in all the trades.
Yes.
And the pipe fitters, they take $25 off pensionee's check. It comes right off the top.
Okay.
And they have full benefits as long as they've been in the union for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
Boilermakers, it's automatic. We, same with electrical, ironworkers. We are the only one who seem to be, and sorry my lack of construction mouth here, screwing our retirees.
Yeah.
Me, I've been in the union 40 years, paid my money, and that's why our health money is so high.
Is where it is.
Is all of us have been putting in our money. But come retirement, I have to pay $270 a month to keep up a health plan when it's cheaper to go on Blue Cross. And why not contribute to our own, like that have worked here? And you were speaking on it, but we really have to get something in motion, because $270 to a retiree who's only getting $2,000 a month to pay his money cannot afford that lump sum. Right. That's their groceries for a week.
Right. No.
I'm not that big, right?
we do understand that for sure. And like I say, that is the reason that it is currently being reviewed. And that is the reason, like I say, because it is such a complex level of coverage, whether it's, is it a member pay, is it a plan pay, we have to be able to determine that the plan can sustain that not only for now, but for the long term. That's the biggest concern, because it is a large group of the membership. Costs do inherently become higher with age on usage of the benefits. It's inevitable. We're going to need more medications and more therapies and things like that as we age, unfortunately. But that is the nature of that benefit group. So it is a higher cost group. So like I say, it's definitely not, it's not that we're trying to avoid it, yeah. It's just we're trying to make sure that we can make the right decision so that if we put it in place, we can maintain it.
Can we talk to the Boilermakers or the ironworkers or see how they do it? Because, I mean, we do have an extreme amount of money in there. We should be protecting our older people who have fought for 40 years or more to keep us here.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we do, sorry, no, for sure. That is definitely something where we do look to our consultants and our actuaries, and we do have people involved in other areas and with connections to different plans and different costing options and things like that. So we do definitely seek out that third-party information and knowledge as they're reviewing that. But like I say, it does have to be reviewed by the board and approved by the board. Sorry, I'll let Lucy speak to that a bit as well. Oh, the green mic. Can we turn on the green mic?
How about now?
There we go.
It definitely needs to be reviewed by the board because this is a significant plan change, so they would have to make that decision. But I can speak to one of those plans because I had previous history with them. One of those retiree plans, actually, it's very limited. So they only provide paid coverage for retirees between the ages of 60 and 64. And then you have to be a member in good standing. You have to maintain your membership status indefinite for that time period of 60 to 64. But you also have to have 20 consecutive years of membership. So,
May I ask what hall you're speaking of?
iron workers.
Okay.
So it is very specific and limited in terms of the eligibility provisions. Now, I'm not as familiar with the Boilermakers.
The one I'm most familiar with is pipe fitters, and they take 25 off the pension check and they have full coverage.
Yeah. So it's something that needs to be explored, but if there is going to be a retiree benefit, it could be options in terms of very reduced coverage. Like I was speaking to a couple of members here today, and it's providing basic dental coverage and maybe some prescription drug coverage, but limiting that. If we were to take a look at providing the exact same benefit plan that active members have and apply that to retirees, it becomes a lot more costly. But that's where the actuary steps in and provides us with those options on what's the best alternative to provide to the membership. So that is something that is on the docket to review for this year in terms of providing alternate options for retirees. But
because I've been asking this question for 4 years now, every year at every meeting.
Gotcha.
So
I can promise
It
you,
is
for
on the
real,
docket.
it's on the agenda this year. Yeah, it is being reviewed. It's, yeah.
Yeah. Well, pipe fitters is better than ours, trust me. Yeah.
So when are we going to get an answer?
So the earliest any plan changes would happen would be January 1st, 2027. So, I mean, it's not something that you're going to know tomorrow, but it is something that is being reviewed for the next plan benefit improvement for 2027.
I'll add on to that because I know for sure that...
Can you come up? I just can't hear you that great, sorry.
I'll add on to that. My name is Harvey Falls.
Okay.
I'll add on to that. My wife is with the labor union.
Okay.
And she's paying $8 a month to keep her dues going and her benefits.
Okay.
That's what she's paying.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, $8 a month. That's what she's paying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean...
And it's hard for us to compare to other plans, like, because as Betty
I know what
alluded
you're
to,
saying
and
is
as-
hard, yes, but maybe you could bring it down just a bit or whatever.
Yeah.
Or just enough for that lady anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, if she's paying that much money, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the thing. So like Lucy alluded to, and like I was saying too, like those are all options that we're reviewing and trying to determine. But like I say, because it is such such a complex
There you go.
group
Here we
of
go.
coverage, and determining whether it's all members, is it after you've met a certain membership criteria, is it after you've met a certain time frame criteria, is it the same level of coverage that you have now, is it a lowered level of coverage, more basic coverage, is there options, can you pay more if you want it? This is the basic coverage that we would allow, but then for this much more a month you could get this. Like it literally is the endless as far as the options that we could assess for, but that's why it does take so much time to determine what is feasible and what is sustainable and what can we offer that will be something that we can offer long-term and that best suits our membership and our plan.
Okay.
So.
Very good.
Right, yeah, so sometimes there are self-pay menus or coverage menus where you would pick the plan and you would get to customize that towards what you can afford and what you need most kind of thing. So it really is endless as far as the options that could come into play, which, like I say, is why it does take time and we have to rely on those industry experts to be able to forecast those costs for us for our membership and the age of our membership as it changes over the next 20 years. So it's definitely, like I say, it is definitely being reviewed. 2027 is the earliest that we would see anything announced as far as if there's anything implemented or approved.
Okay, thank you. My next question is the 12-month free. Is the spouse included with that too, or just?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically your coverage, everything is the same as if you were working. The only thing that changes is if you're a retired member, you no longer have the weekly disability benefits, but that's the same within the plan at any time. But that 12 months extended, any eligible dependents that you have at that time would be also covered at the same level.
So a person looking to retire, you're better off having your 6 months paid off before you even get laid off. Right, and then your 12 months you can get it too.
Yeah, so like I say, in the best case scenario, when it comes time to retire, you're thinking about it leading up to it. You want to make sure that you have your full hour bank, your full 780 hour bank, which is going to be your 6 months of hour bank coverage. Then you're going to want to do your 6 months of self-pay following that. So then we're at a year post-retirement date. And then the extended benefits for another 12 months after that. So in theory, right now, you could extend it for up to 2 years following your retirement date, based on your hour bank, your self-pay, and your extended benefit option.
So it's 12 months for sure.
Yeah.
Possible another 12 after.
Yeah, so the critical thing for when you're at age 65, if you're not planning to retire, you need to monitor your hour bank if you're not working regularly, because that benefit automatically opts in whether you choose it or not. It is, if you meet the criteria, it starts. So if you're not if you're working, you're working a shutdown in the summer and you're going to take some time off in the winter, that kind of thing, check with us to see where your hour bank is at, when your last hours are going to be reported, when you need to check back in to see when your self-pay option is, because if you make your self-pays, you can avoid that kicking in sooner than you want. Because if you get even 1 month of coverage through the extended benefits and we get hours reported for you, you lose the other 11 months. So it's really important, if you're continuing to work after age 65 and you're not planning on taking that permanent break, or at least an extended break, make sure you're in touch with us, make sure you're keeping your address and your email up to date so that you're getting all your notices about your hour bank. Because the last thing we want to see is someone lose it when they didn't intend to lose it.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Hi. Good morning.
First of all, I'll say it is a great plan. Everywhere I go,
you.
I get that the Carpenter's got the best.
Thank you.
My situation is, I think I've called before, and when I need a procedure, bang, it's done.
Okay.
I needed one for my wife.
Okay.
Like, she's still waiting for stuff. It's over a year. And because it's my wife not contributing to the plan, it seemed to be put on the back burner. So, how can I word it? So like the Alberta Alt, you go in right now, and like there's a procedure she needs right now, it's in her foot. It's going to be a year and a half to 2 years.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So there's a device that I paid for out of my pocket.
Okay.
It actually is, it's an ultrasound bone stimulator. I was telling the lady back there about it. But anyway, okay, put that to the side. So the thing was, she needed this special ultrasound or an x-ray. I'm not sure which way it went.
Okay.
So when we called, they said, yeah, you're looking at a year and a half, year and 6 months, whatever, whatever it took. There's no timeline. But she said, if you pay yourself, we could bump it up.
Right.
I paid myself. It cost me $1,500.
Okay.
3 days, she had this procedure done. But is there room now in our plan for private health care the way it's going? Because That's the way it sounds like. If you want to pay yourself, you can get something done right away.
Yeah.
But if you want to go through Alberta Health, you're going to be waiting a long time. So that's my question.
Yeah, so it is something that's definitely changing, and we're seeing more and more cases of that. The plan is designed to be a supplement. So inherently, we can't cover everything. We would be broke. It's designed to supplement the everyday needs, the most common needs, and the most requested needs in that respect. Those are becoming more requested for sure. We're getting more and more requests for, I need this MRI, I need this ultrasound, and that kind of thing. So it is definitely something we're going to have to be reviewing going forward, but it isn't possible for us to cover everything. So things like that are great ideas that you can submit for, requests to the Board of Trustees. The board does accept requests for improvements to the plan. You can write into the plan and lay out what it is that you're looking for. It will be reviewed by the trustees. They do review those items at every meeting. They meet quarterly. And so those are things that, as we get, just like with the retiree self-payments, it is probably the biggest requested request at the moment. But as the healthcare environment changes, this may become the newest, biggest request, right? So we do appreciate that feedback, and we do take that into consideration, and it does go to the trustees based on that. But it's not something that we can implement immediately. And also, like I say, it is designed to be a supplement. So we do cover as much as we can where possible, where it fits within the plan. So in some cases, it might be if that treatment's being done by a physiotherapist, well, yeah, we can cover that under your physiotherapy limit, 90% up to 900. There's your 900 that you used this year. It just depends on whether it falls within what we're currently covering. And like I say, at the moment, there's not the opportunity for us to pay for things over and above what's covered under the plan. But like I say, those are good items to bring forward for us for things that you're looking for changes within the
But
plan.
should I felt like the coverage was basically to get me back to work and not worry about her getting back to work because we share income, share the bills, right?
I think you're referring to the private surgery allowance within the plan. So there is the possibility within the plan, there is private surgery option for members only, where there's 80% coverage for possibly if you have to do submit a request, it has to be pre-approved. We'd have to be able to prove that it's preventing you from working, and the private surgery would avail you to work sooner if you're able to do that, and it would be reviewed by the trustees and approved. The plan is designed to be member focused. The members working are what keeps the plan going. So there are certain things that are designed solely for the membership and to the benefit of the membership, but it's also a cost function as well. When we're talking at private surgeries, those are large cost items. If we open that to the entire family, when you're talking, sometimes families can have six kids now, sometimes more even. So those costs accrue exponentially when we start expanding it that way. So like I say, there are certain things within the plan that are focused strictly for the members. Same with like the weekly disability. Unfortunately, it's not something we can offer to the whole family, but we are making sure that we're giving that to the member when they need it and they're not able to work. So there is sometimes some things that we have to deliver towards more the member, but we do, wherever we can, open that coverage to the family as well.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
The last time I submitted receipts,
okay,
none of them were accepted.
Okay.
One was cash.
Okay.
And 4 were not, with the massage therapist's stamp on there.
Okay.
The receipts didn't come back to me after it was revoked.
Right.
And so now I have joined to the portal.
Okay.
And it's been longer than 3 days.
Okay.
Same receipts.
Okay.
But with, some intract transfers.
Okay, so again, I'll kind of answer this in parts and address each part of that. So the 3-day turnaround for the payment is typically from when you receive the notice that your payment has been processed. So processing time can still be, normal processing time can be up to 5 business days before that payment window. In most In the new system, we do have certain items that have automatic approval based on the system adjudicating for us. So those ones can be as quick as same-day approvals, and they can be instant feedback to your provider. Massage is one of the items that is pended for review. So when I say pended for review, that means that one of our claims adjudicators actually looks at that claim before it is paid. I'll be blunt, and I'm not accusing you in any way, but one of the reasons massage is pended for review is it is a high misuse and abuse item. And so we have to be, one of our jobs is to be, I'm struggling with my word. Yeah, safeguard the trust fund in the sense that we're not paying things that are not valid claims and and to ensure that there's no fraud or misuse of the plan. And so, again, not in any way accusatory for yourself, but
with her massage therapy number.
They do.
They do.
So we no longer accept handwritten receipts in that respect, where it's like, I could go to the dollar store and get a receipt book, and I can write it out, and I can write out the information, and I can stamp it on it. We've had a large volume of fraud in those cases. Not all providers. There are very legitimate providers providing very legitimate services. But the trouble is, the one bad apple spoils the bunch. And so it means that we have to put in more rules in place to keep that from happening. So we no longer accept handwritten receipts in that respect with a hand stamp on it. We no longer accept cash payments for that reason in most cases. We do request that you use a verifiable source of payment, so debit, credit, e-transfer, that type of thing. Send us a receipt.
I can't dictate what kind of receipt she uses.
No, that's fair. And so we accept those, I'll clarify, sorry. So we don't accept those handwritten receipts as a standalone receipt, but if you pay by debit and produce that receipt with her credentials on it, then we would accept that. So it may just be that we need to have you submit an alternate form of payment. So in some cases where if you've paid for a large volume of claims already, so say you've had 6 massages that you've paid by cash, particularly if you have a good relationship with that provider and you explain to them, my plan is no longer accepting cash payments, can you refund me that cash and I'll send you an e-transfer for that same amount so that I can verify for them that I've paid you? They will do that in most cases. So there are options. What I'll ask is, if you don't mind, after the meeting's done, if I can take your info from you, so I can have a look and see what the case is. And we can definitely get to the bottom of it for sure if there is a delay. We can let you know if there's additional information that's needed and that type of thing. We'll just have to follow up with you next week because we don't have access to our systems here today. But I can definitely look into that for you. So please come see me after.
Thanks, Emma.
Okay. Hi.
Danielle Bamber, a question about members' hour banks.
Yes.
When a member is, I know you need the $2.10 coming in, and that's negotiated on our Alberta agreement.
Right.
But our members are working throughout the country, and they're getting different rates.
Yes.
My husband spent a couple years in Kitimat.
Yep.
And it didn't happen with us, but with other people that he was working with, they were lapsing in and out of good standing.
Right.
Because they didn't have enough hours, didn't have enough money coming in, and it was such a reduced rate.
Right.
In this situation, have you considered an option for the member to self-pay, to bring that amount up so that they could maintain?
So
because when they're lapsing in and out, that self-payment, they don't know, especially when they're working.
Yeah. So you're talking like a self-pay top-up for the contribution
Yes,
amount?
when they're not, when that $2.10 isn't coming in.
Okay. So currently that's not an option to do like a kind of custom self-pay where, you know, if I'm 5 hours short, can I just pay for that 5 hours? But we do allow, and we do actually recommend in a lot of cases, if you are working under reciprocal local or out of province, because it does take longer for us to receive the hours. Like you said, a lot of times it's not the same contribution rate. Typically it's lower, not higher. In those cases, if you contact us, we can put a self-pay, if you want to make the self-pay, as long as you meet the criteria to make your self-pay, we can put that on file. And if you tell us, I want you to hang on to that because I'm going to be here for the next 6 months and I'm going to be doing, 14 on, 7 off. I don't know what range and how long it's going to take them to get your hours into me or into the plan. I want you to just hang on to that. We can do that. Like we'll be able to do that. We don't typically hold self-pays long-term unless requested. Right. So, but at this moment, it's not something where there's an option to self-pay to bump up the contribution rate as like a partial self-pay, but I can definitely take that forward as a potential for review.
That would be very helpful because it's very frustrating when they're working.
Yes.
They're working so much and they still don't have that.
Well, yeah, you're working crazy hours. You got a week at home. The last thing you want to do on your week at home is be chasing to see where everything's at. And when you're away working, you don't want your family at the dentist and not able to get their stuff, right? So I get it. We totally understand it. And the biggest thing that we struggle with reciprocity and with out of province and under other locals is, like I say, I can say in all except for one local's case, they don't tell us you're going to work there. They don't tell us you're getting dispatched there. So we have no idea if hours are missing because we don't know you've been dispatched there. So in a lot of cases, like you say, you've got members that went there with a full hour bank. They don't realize till they get their notice that their benefits are terminated that we didn't get any hours for them. So, and we didn't know we were supposed to be getting hours, so we couldn't chase it. So that's where it is good as well. If you're taking a dispatch from someone other than 1325, 2003, or 2010, or if you're going out of province, touch base with us before you go, see where your benefits are at, let us know where you're going so we can watch for those hours. We can't monitor every single hour bank, but if we know that those hours are supposed to be coming, we will monitor that so that we can help prevent that from happening.
Can I add another question?
100%, yep.
And this might be a Lucy question. Okay. Do you guys reckon, is there a potential of reconciling hours received between health and wellness and the pension and the local, because there's money coming in, so that we know if someone's getting missed, if we know that something's going on?
I can, or do you want to?
I think one of the things that we're going to start looking at in terms of reciprocal agreements is when individuals are being dispatched, there's going to need to be a contribution transfer authorization form in place, and that gets returned to us. So that'll help us know when somebody's being dispatched to another through a recip. Yes. So once we have those forms in play, then we have a better idea of this group of members are working outside, so we can follow up when we're seeing that there's a break in the hour bank as well. Okay. So that's the plan. It's just now laying out the steps so that we can roll it out. Okay. So.
And there have been cases where if they thought there was a discrepancy, we have reviewed records to confirm that the hours, everyone that was working, like if the employer sent us a list of, okay, this is everyone I have at this site that's an Alberta member, this is when they started, this is what the rate is. We have done audits that way to verify that, yes, we got hours for all those members. Yes, this is the contribution rate that was remitted, and we did get all the hours, and if we didn't, we advised them of that. So it's just something, because we don't know what's supposed to come in, it has to get initiated from either the employer or the member standpoint.
Part of this is going to be communication. So our role is to notify the members just that their hour bank is running out, and then your role is to contact us and let us know if you're not working locally and it's through a recip. We need to know that so then we can take the next step and reach out to that plan and chase down that money, because that is our job.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, Brother Dave Clow again. Okay. So in the last 5 months, I've undergone 2 heart surgeries. At the end of February, my 20 weeks of medical EI will be up.
Okay.
At which point then I can claim for the short-term disability through the hall.
Okay.
Short-term disability with the money you guys pay out, does that affect any of my pension money, or does that only happen when I collect long-term? Because I've heard a rumor that if you go from short-term disability with the hall, that's $7.23 whatever a week now, over to long-term disability, so after you burnt off your 26 weeks of short-term, right? So once you've exceeded that 26 weeks, then is more money going to be taken off your pension fund?
So currently, there isn't a long-term disability on the health and wellness side. So
Okay.
there is the health and wellness weekly disability benefit, which is a short-term benefit up to 26 weeks. So we can look at first 2 weeks before you go to EI, then you go to EI for your 26 weeks, then we could pick up for another 24 or 25 weeks after EI is done. Beyond that, what you're referring to, I believe, is if you could apply for a disability pension. I'll let Terry or Lucy speak to that. As far as the impact on that is, there is some criteria that would have to be met, so it's not an automatic thing that everyone could qualify for. But I'll let Terry.
Yes, so once you've exhausted your health and wellness benefit, and you've applied for and is in receipt of the CPP disability, you can then apply for basically starting your pension early. And then I think they will also give you some future service regarding that. So they do. We actually send that one to our actuary to get the disability benefit, but you can continue your pension payments early that way.
When you do take your short-term disability, no money's going to be taken out of what you paid into your pension plan, right?
No.
You guys cover the whole. All right, perfect.
Health and wellness does not touch pension. They are independent of each other. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions?
Brother Greg Armour. With prescription coverage,
yes.
Is there some way that we could get something that would be separate for safety eyewear, and instead of having that go against the general? And could it be something that doesn't have a 2-year limit on it? Because if they get damaged, they need to be replaced. If it happens in the first month, you shouldn't have to go 23 months before you get new ones.
That's fair. Currently, there isn't. It is included within the same limit. But again, that's something that I'd be happy to take away as a possible improvement to review. But it would have to come in as a benefit improvement, and it would have to go through the Board of Trustees for approval and costing and all that kind of thing. But we can definitely take that as a feedback item and potential improvement. But as of right now, your vision it encompasses all vision services, so it would be regular prescription glasses, prescription sunglasses, or protective prescription eyewear would all be within that $650 every 2 years currently. So,
mm-hmm. Okay, and with the extended benefits, you've mentioned a few times today that they are automatic.
Yes.
Is there any way around that?
Not currently. Based on how everything is written within the plan text and the way it is implemented, it is an automatic enrollment based on eligibility criteria. So if you meet that criteria and you choose not to self-pay, you would be enrolled with it automatically.
Okay. But if a person does their self-pay, if they get in a situation where they intend to work for more years,
yeah,
but they run out of their 6 months.
Yeah.
All right, that kicks in.
Yes. So
if they go back to work because they need to go back to work,
yeah,
they lose, like you were saying, the other 11 months.
Yeah. So as long as you were back to work within your self-pay window and you made your self-payments, you could manually keep that from keep that from kicking in before you wanted to. But you would be limited to that 6-month window in time, so that, because if the hours started to come in, like I say, after you'd been enrolled in it would be lost, or you would be enrolled if there's no hours coming in. So your best bet, if you're planning to be on and off, like I say, is to make sure that you touch base with us to know, okay, if my self-pay option runs out here, when do I have to be back to work, and how many hours do I have to work to make sure that that doesn't kick in before then. So like Lucy said, it's that communication. Make sure you're touching base with us, so that, because we can tell you, okay, if your benefits are going to run out at the end of May, that means you've got to be back to work in April and having this many hours, because you're going to need at least that 130. If you have some residual in your hour bank, you may not need the full 130, but we need to make sure that you know exactly, so that you don't have it just missed by, oh, that pay period fell in the other month, or that kind of thing. It's very live in the sense that there's a lot of factors, so it's really important to touch base with us so you know exactly when you need to be back to work if you don't want that to kick in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
briefly. My name's Ronald Coyne, and my question is, you touched briefly on a retirement benefits plan, and you say that's on your agenda. What kind of time frame are we looking at on that? Like, I mean, is it another year out, maybe 2, or?
The earliest.
That's my question.
Yeah,
I guess,
the earliest would be 2027 if it is approved. So when I say it's on the agenda, it's meaning that it's on the agenda of the Board of Trustees for their items to review for potential plan improvements for 2027. So January 1st, 2027 would be the earliest that it could possibly come into play.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Sorry,
Don't
Danielle
be sorry.
Bamber again. At our local meetings, it's been brought up a number of times that the Canadian Regional Council is looking at consolidating health and wellness plans across the country and across all of the UBC. Have you guys been approached by one plan to provide information so that they could do a proper quote?
I'm going to defer to Lucy on this
And it
one,
can
if
be a
that's
yes or
okay.
no answer.
I missed the first part of the
in
question.
regards to the CRC amalgamating the health and wellness nationwide.
Have you been approached by them to provide
There
information?
was an email sent asking for very detailed information. It was put before the Board of Trustees, and the Board of Trustees at the time decided not to release any of the details. So I would say, with respect to their request for information, if they want to do a complete review of this benefit plan, I think it's only fair that they also provide us with the same information so that our fund professionals can do a true comparison as well. So I think that the next step in terms of that, should the CRC come back and push this request further, is that they release the same information. I'd say that our valuation report is on the website. So it gives them a general idea of what the costs are, and the plan booklet is on the website as well. So if they want to do a comparison, the information's there. But I think it goes both ways. We should be able to do the same exact thing.
Thank you.
Good answer. Anybody else? Okay. I'm going to hand over the microphone to Lucy. Thanks very much.
So the last thing I want to cover is thank you to the members who completed the survey that was circulated a few weeks back. I know that Insight, the organization that conducted that survey and organized the results for us, said that they had an overwhelming response. So that was great to hear. There were a large number of individuals that also took the time to do the one-on-one conversations with Insight, which was also a bit more in-depth survey. I think it was about 45 minutes for each of those phone calls, and the feedback was great. What we're going to do next is take those survey results and share it with the membership. So they're just putting together a detailed summary for us, and then we're going to roll that out to the membership so that you also can see what the feedback was in terms of those that responded. On a go-forward basis, we plan on rolling out those surveys on a regular basis because we do want to hear from you. We want to know what changes you want to see, what improvements, and we also want to know whether or not we're doing a good job. So we want to hear the successes, but I also want to hear about any negative challenges that you're having, because if you don't provide the feedback, we don't know what we need to improve. So that's part of the whole communication aspect in terms of we're going to try to improve communication on a go-forward basis. So we're going to have more of these member meetings. We are going to generate newsletters on a semi-annual basis. One will be focused on pension material, the other one will be focused on health and wellness. The first one that you see will be a combination of the two. So it'll be highlighting things that are happening in the industry, but also giving you some feedback in terms of what's coordination of benefits, what is a private health services plan, how do these relate to your benefit plan, and then also highlighting things specific to the pension plan as well. So we're going to be doing that. In terms of communication, we're going to provide an annual report to members, and that'll focus on the financial reporting of both plans. So you'll see a separate report for health and wellness and one for pension. And it'll give you a breakdown of also how the investments have progressed over the years also. Annual governance report. That's also going to be circulated to the membership so that you can see, you know that the Board of Trustees meet on a quarterly basis, but you're going to get a summary of some of the items that were discussed. Not in detail, you just get a brief overview. What are the policies that they reviewed? Who did they meet with? How did the returns on the investments go? So that's part of the whole communication process that a lot of the members provided feedback in terms of through this survey results. So those are the things that we're also working on. We're going to roll out the web portal and the pension estimator. Now that's going to take a little bit of time because we are canvassing a few individuals that or organizations that'll be able to provide that to us because we don't have the resources internally. But that is next on the list. We want to get in current, we want to get in the times. I believe that we're one of the last trust funds that hasn't provided this capability, so we want to move forward on that as well. And the last thing is, actually I touched on it already, is annual surveys. So we are going to do that on a regular basis and send those by email. I know you've been inundated with a bunch of emails, I'd say, in the last 2 to 3 months. And if you don't want to participate or you don't want to see the communication, just let us know. We'll take you off those lists. But it is important to stay in touch with us. And that is going to be one of our primary ways of communication is through email, posting information on our website. But then we're also going to be in person. And you can come to the office anytime. Just remember that you can give us a call, you can email us, but we also have the ability that if you're out on a job site, you can schedule a call where we can do a video meeting with you as well. The staff are available for that. You simply go to our website and you can follow the steps on the calendar and book an appointment with anybody on our front team line. So. Thank you again to all of you who have come out today. The staff are going to hang around for about 15-20 minutes after this if you have any individual questions, and you'll see the team at the back as well. I want to say thank you to Terry and Emily, as well as Spencer, for giving up their Saturday, as well as the staff at the back. There's Aaron and Scott and Sheena and Jason and Deb and Tresha. So thank you for giving up your Saturday morning. Harry Paul, thank you again for joining us as well. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks.